Computer. All right. It is Monday, March 23rd, 2026. And we are getting dangerously close to quarter four. Quarter four. Where's the year going? Right. It really is dangerously close because we're going to wake up tomorrow and it's going to be quarter Q4, but the end of Q2, Q1, beginning of Q2. So today is about, good morning, Crystal. Crystal?
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. All right. So today we're talking about action before belief, and so I am going to start with the opening thoughts today, and then we'll get into it. So let me ask you something. Up. Good morning, Miss Fati.
Morning.
All right. I'm starting off with the my opening thoughts today, and then we're gonna get into the discussion. So let me ask you something today. What do you do when your body is tired? When your mind is louder than your goals? And everything in you is saying, not today. Because that voice shows up for you too, doesn't it? It tells you you're behind. It tells you you're not ready. It tells you maybe you've missed your window. Maybe it's too late. Maybe you just don't have it today. And if you're being honest, you've listened to that voice before. You've waited to feel ready. You've waited to feel confident, waited to feel like today is the day you finally show up the way you want to. But here's the truth most people miss: confidence doesn't come first, action does. You don't build belief by thinking about it. You build belief by doing something when you don't feel like doing anything at all. One call, one rep, one small step forward. Because the moment you move, even when you're tired and even when you're doubting yourself, you create proof. And that proof starts to change how you see yourself. Not someone who talks about doing the work, but someone who does it anyway. So today, I want you to think about this. What is one action right now that you would do immediately to build your confidence? And why are you waiting to feel ready when action is what makes you ready? All right, so let's get it going. How was the weekend?
Um, my weekend was really nice. It was very refreshing.
Hmm.
I was in Memphis.
In
Um,
Memphis?
I was in Memphis.
All right, I was singing about Memphis this weekend.
Yes, I was in Memphis, and I was basically sending off my niece. She's joining the Navy,
Oh,
and so
really? Okay.
yeah, she's joining the Navy right now, and she's actually leaving within a few days.
All
We
right.
just
Where's
wish
she?
her well and wish her safe travels and training. She's going to Chicago for training.
Okay,
And then
for
after
basic.
yeah, for her basic training for eight
Hmm.
weeks. And then after the 8 weeks, she's gonna they'll figure out where they're gonna basically ship her off, like on base.
Okay, okay. You ever
Hmm.
heard that song "Walking in Memphis"?
You said what?
Have you ever heard the song "Walking in Memphis"?
How does it go?
You. I put on my blue suede shoes and I boarded the plane. Touchdown in the land of the Delta Blues in the middle of the pouring rain. I may not have hit each note perfectly, but I felt like I did a pretty good job.
I don't think I heard that one. I guess
You've
that's gonna be
never
my
heard
song.
that song?
I'm gonna shoot. I'm gonna figure it out today.
I can't believe you've never heard that song. Yeah, it's a classic. It's a classic for me. I don't know. I'm not sure. No, I think I'm pretty sure it's a classic. Anyway, I came on. I hadn't heard it forever, and of course, I was belting it out terribly. That being said, so good. Well, good. It's nice to have the relaxing weekends. Fati, what about you?
I had a great weekend too. I was at Arnett's shop and I went to an oyster shack when I didn't eat any oysters, but got to go around and tell people dad jokes, so that was fun.
Yeah, we did some coverage for the ATL tour down at the Oyster Shack at our Nets Chop Shop. It was a good time, and something to think about. Like What I noticed, and what we both, well, Fati hadn't been there before, um, but this is something to just kind of to be aware of. You know, I think signs of the economy were there because it was not nearly as busy as it was in years past. The prices went up for one. Last year they were $80 a ticket. This year they were $110 a ticket, and it just wasn't as crowded. You know, and not to say it wasn't there was still a good crowd there, but I mean I think that absolutely goes to show between the price and the economy, like just less people were willing to come out and see that, you know, or do that event. So that I think, you know, kind of looking for trends like that um, as you move through the world, you know, will kind of help identify, you know, where things are going with business. So today, you know, we're talking about, you know, creating proof and confidence through action. Um, so, you know, let's talk about it. What is there a action, you know, are there actions that you take that help build confidence for you?
Um, Actions that I take that helps build confidence for me.
Yep.
I would say
And here's
actions
why.
for
Here, I'll let you think about
I
that
would
for
say
just a sec.
oh,
Oh, go ahead. Oh,
I
go
was gonna
ahead.
say I would say working out.
Working out. Okay.
Hmm.
All right. That's
That
no,
came to the top of my brain.
I
Working
think
out.
that's absolutely a big one. I mean, right there, like, because working out, right, that gives us like every time. I work out, you know, it helps build um they're doing creates endorphins, right? And I now you know say, you know, I was because I was gonna say as you were thinking about it, you know, I notice, you know, when I talk about, for instance, the commission conversation, right? Because I've done it a number of times, I've noticed that when I deliver, here's my commission confidently, I have had zero pushback on that at all through my clients. Um, and so by rehearsing it, um, and you know, and doing it over and over again, that builds confidence. And just by doing the actions over and over again, it's going to build confidence over time, right? And I think what you gave is a great example of immediately build, because you know the next question was going to be what immediately helps you build confidence, and I think working out is a, a great one because yeah, it gets you feeling good about yourself, right?
Exactly.
Is there a workout that you like to do that is like just kind of your favorite that you always know? I always feel just amazing after this workout.
It's between Pilates and like running outside.
Okay,
Between those two.
and so you can't just get up and go. I mean, I guess you could get up. No, you can't just get up and do Pilates because unless you have a reformer, right? But
You could do
yeah.
mat Pilates. It's only like 30
Oh, okay.
minutes. There's
Oh,
some
okay.
videos on YouTube. You could just all you need is just your body and a mat. And then
Mhm.
you just do like a whole cardio sculpt workout that'll get you burning and sweating. Surprisingly,
Okay.
believe it or not.
No, I just didn't. No, no. I mean, I've only done Pilates once, and I had a blast. But I thought you had to have that machine for it. You know, the thing that
Oh,
like makes.
reformer.
Yeah, yeah,
No.
yeah. Yeah.
I gotta
Okay.
show you this one video. It's called Body by Izzy. If you look up on
Hmm.
YouTube, Body by Izzy, that girl will have you shaking. She
Okay.
will have you trembling, no matter like where you are in your fitness journey, because those
Hmm.
small muscles that sometimes we can't target, like in the gym, especially weight training, she knows how
Yeah.
to get them activated and it burns bad.
Okay. All
So
right.
I would say Pilates, but also running outside, it's the fresh air for me. Like it's like my meditation.
Yeah. Okay. Makes sense. All right, Fadi. What about for you? What helps you build confidence? What actions?
Honestly, just trying new things and getting out of my comfort zone and just kind of throwing myself into it.
Hmm.
I've learned that like at first it's like the jitters because Will Smith talks about like skydiving and how like he talks about like the fear and the anxiety buildup only happens up until the point you're like in it, and then when you're in it, you just kind of end up working through it to where you build the confidence to be able to do something else and tackle something else that's more grander and things of that nature. So for me, just throwing myself into the environment and just doing. But
Hmm.
then also to piggyback off of what you said, also the repetition aspect of doing things, because when you hit a certain amount of hours of practice in a certain field, you kind of just are on autopilot, and that gets you more that confidence as well because you're familiar with it.
Hmm. And I think like what you said about Will Smith, yeah, right. When he talked about jumping out of the plane, it's terrifying up until you do it, and then once you're in it, right? Like it's the fear that leads up to starting it, and then yeah, and I can kind of um talk about, I guess, door knocking was very similar. Like, even though I've gone out and knocked tons of doors, and it's been a minute, like up, like there's like a little bit of anxiety inside up until I knock on that first door when I'm getting out doing it. And then I knock on the door and I was like, I'm in it now. Someone's either going to answer or they're not. But regardless, you know, I'm in it now. And the fear kind of goes away. And then as soon as they start opening, as soon as they open the door, maybe sometimes it takes a couple conversations, couple people answering doors to get into the full swing of it. But yeah, just by doing it is going to build that confidence. So, you talk about, are there any moments in your business where you are waiting to feel ready? And I can tell you right now, like coming from experience for me, like where did I wait to feel ready? I know that when I was starting to make my calls and building my business, I was terrified of the calls. I've told the story over and over again, like pit of my stomach fear. It hurt my stomach to make calls, and so I would sit there and I would pace, and I would be like, "What am I going to say on the phone? Oh my gosh, if I say this and they say this, and then and I'd be procrastinating, and then finally, okay, let's make this call, and I would get a voicemail. So I would waste all that time by waiting to feel ready. And if I just made the call, I would have got the voicemail, or maybe I wouldn't have. Maybe they were available 5 minutes prior. I don't know that, but at the same time, I can say that was definitely a place where I would wait to feel ready. So, is there any places in your business or your personal life where you wait to feel ready?
Um, I guess for me, it was also the calls aspect was like,
Hmm.
and not actually not even the calls. It was more of the contracts. So when I first started off, I just kind of deep dove into just learning contracts when I should have just took a step back because the classes and the test in itself was already like information overload.
Hmm.
So that's one thing also telling the new agents now is like just go in it and you'll learn as you go because a lot of real estate is honestly learning as you go. So one of the things that I felt like I wasn't ready and I was going to get the contracts wrong when the things I should have been focused on was building relationships with people because they're not doing if real estate was only contracts, then there would be no reason for agents, you know? So
Hmm.
the aspect of us building relationships is what makes us, still valid and irreplaceable when it comes to AI.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you hit the nail on the head there, talking about it's the relationships. And you mentioned as a new agent, you get caught up in, oh, it's a contract, or so many new agents get caught up. I have to learn this, I have to learn that, because there are a million things you have to learn when you get started, and it is incredibly overwhelming. So it's easy to say, well, I have to learn this, so I'll skip the thing that scares me the most, and the thing that scares people the most tends to be the moneymaker.
Hmm.
Crystal, what about you?
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah, where is there any place in your business or business or personal, right?
Hmm.
Where are you waiting to feel ready to before you do the work?
Um, I know that I'm just kind of pushing the envelope on this one, but home buyer seminar.
Hmm.
With that, I don't know. It's like I've been taking on opinions and hearing different people's advice of like, hosting it, what happens during hosting, like the why. I don't know. I'm very conflicted. I'm just doing it just to kind of rip the band-aid off of it because I've
Hmm.
never done a first-time home buyer before. So I have one booked for April 4th. That's Saturday from 5 to
Okay.
7. And I'm a bit nervous, but it's like a part of me, it's like it's easy for me to talk to people, but at the same time, it's like hosting an event. Will anybody show up? Am I gonna
Hmm.
just talk nonsense? Are people gonna ask me questions where I'm just gonna be like at a standstill? Like all those things
Yeah.
like are
I,
popping up in my head.
Well, here's the thing. It's going to be a win no matter what. And I'm going to explain to
Hmm.
you why.
Hmm.
Um, so first of all, and I'm gonna come to to why it's going to be a win no matter what. Let's talk about other people's opinions, right? Um, don't let other people's fears affect your progress in life, because and prime example. When I first said, to my coach, I was going to make 500 cold calls that week. That wasn't, she said, great, report back to me next week. And it wasn't, oh, that's a lot of calls. Because there are lots of people that would be like, that's a ton of calls. You can't make 500 calls in a week. People still look at me and they'll say 500 calls in a week. That was a ton. I was like, yeah, well, actually, I end up building up to 2,000 calls a week. And you see people's heads explode. And if I had a bad coach and someone say, maybe you want to shoot for something a little less, right? Great. If I didn't hit 500, well, why didn't you hit 500? What kind of time did you put in? And so, make sure you're focused on that, right? Don't let the other people's, because again, people are going to tell you it's not possible because they can't do it, or they're afraid to do it, or their fears are going to affect you. And no matter what mode of business you choose to lead gen way you choose to build your business, as long as you do it intentionally and consistently, you will be successful. Now, here's why it's a win no matter what, whether nobody shows up or anybody shows up. So, first of all, um, if nobody shows up, you should absolutely you put on the home buyer seminar and record it, okay? Because and put it on like a Zoom. However, you're going to record it, and then just take the clips of it. Because one, if you take the clips of it and use that to build for on the next one, people don't know if you're talking to one person, or 50 people, right? And if you're putting it on if nobody shows up and you put it on like there you got a room full of people, you're going to be able to fine tune for the next one. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. That's a great
Net,
idea. And
now
that way I'll
here's the
have content too.
and that way what?
I'll have content for social media.
Exactly. Now, and again, make sure and prep are you pairing with a lender or anybody on this?
Yes, I'm prepared
Okay.
with a lender.
Right. Prep them for that. Like, hey, just in case, right? Here's what we can use to build for the next one.
These are
Huh?
like boutique, right, right. Okay.
Um, Now let's pretend you have only one person show up for this home buyer seminar. Well, great. Even that's great. Still record it. Do it just the same way. Because you'll still get your content, you'll get to practice it. But now you've got that one person who is looking to buy a home has your undivided attention to help get them where they want to be, right? And listen, an hour to talk to one person about their goal of buying and selling a home, they become your client. Is that worth the time?
Absolutely. It's like a
That
nice personalized in-person appointment, essentially, like a buyer's appointment, essentially. So it'll feel a lot more intimate and I'll be able to fine tune them specifically versus talking to like a crowd of people and I won't be able to really see where they are individually, like as far as status of where they are wanting to purchase. So no, I love that. I love how you turn something like into a negative thought into something positive.
Exactly. And then finally, with that, set them all up for the mindset of success too, whether it's one, two, or
Mhm.
three people, or if right, if it's only a couple few people there, just open it
Mhm.
up and you could be like, I loved it when there is just a couple people here at this home buyer seminar because we get to dive deep into your goals. Rather, if there was 20 people here, I couldn't talk to you directly about your goals very in depth,
Mhm.
right? So we get to make
Mhm.
this a very personal experience for you. And this is the perfect home buyer seminar for you guys. Are you guys excited about this, right? Like, so work with the number of people that are there for that. And I think any way you look at it, any way it shakes down, it's going to be a win.
Absolutely. I love that. Thank you.
You're
I love
welcome. All right. What do you got next? Final one is all right, here we go. So, you know, the question is going to be, is what proof could you create this week, right? And I'm going to have to, as my example, for me, it was, yesterday and that kind of what helped inspired what today's opening and closing was about. But I was feeling beat down. I felt like I couldn't do it. Yesterday's workout was a hard, intimidating workout. And even though I felt like I couldn't do it, I just did the work, right? I just said, let me just get it going. And I got it going. And then it built the confidence immediately that I needed. That there was proof that helped create, I've got the ability to keep doing what I'm doing. Even when I feel like I can't. It just took doing, right? And starting by putting one foot in and another and building up momentum. So what proof could you create for yourself this week? What actions can you do this week to help build confidence for you and your life, your personal or business life?
For me, it's instead of going into this home buyer seminar nervous because it is like fastly approaching, just go over my presentation and go over with the lender like our game plan so that when questions like hit us left and right, we kind of already know like topics that we want to touch. I think the lack of confidence is also like making sure like my presentation is together as
Okay.
well and like having things that I want present like there. Like once I have everything like planned and scheduled, I'll feel like, comfortable and confident to like go ahead and host one because I feel like I won't have a whole bunch of things like hitting me left and right that I'm prepared for.
There you go. Okay. Nice. There you go. Coming up with a game plan.
Yeah.
Perfect. Bati, what about you? What are you going to do what action can you do to create proof this week?
Um, for me, it would be repetition and just practice
Hmm.
for like kind of similar to what Crystal is doing, but presenting when it comes to like listing presentations and stuff like that. Just prepping and getting down like a streamlined like a way that to do it, incorporate my vernacular within it. So
Hmm.
just that and studying
And
that.
speaking of like that, right? We're talking about like bringing everything together, right? We have a big listing presentation coming up this Friday, um, right? We're going to be rehearsing for that. The
Mhm.
content we're putting together for social media is going to revolve around that, so that will help by shooting that and putting that together. That will help you prepare for what we're discussing for this luxury presentation, um, and to help build that confidence for the conversation we're going to have on Friday.
Mhm.
So by using what you're doing and and using that to create marketing, which we're doing through the social media, and rehearsing for this big listing presentation, it's all kind of coming together and going to be working synergistically to help you know build that confidence and prepare you for what the money making actions that are coming up this week.
Mhm. Correct.
All right, cool. Well, all right. So, any other final thoughts from either one of you for the day, or any questions that we can help based on kind of what we're talking about here today? Just creating confidence through action.
Yes. Creating confidence through action. I love it. Thank you for that reminder. It's nice.
You're welcome. Fauci, any thoughts? Anything you want to bring up before we close out?
No, we're good. Thank you.
All right. So, my final thoughts today, as I'm going to close it out. Before you move on with your day, I want you to answer this honestly. Where in your life are you still waiting? Waiting to feel ready, waiting to feel confident, waiting for the perfect moment to show up, because that moment does not exist. The version of you that you are trying to become, the one who is confident, consistent, disciplined, that version isn't built by thinking differently. It's built by acting differently, by doing the work on the days you feel strong, and especially on the days you feel completely off. Because every time you take action, you leave yourself evidence, evidence that you can do it tired, evidence that you can do it unsure, evidence that you can do it even when your mind is telling you to stop. And that's how your identity changes. Not overnight, but through repeated proof. So this week, I want you to focus on one thing: not doing everything, not being perfect, just creating proof. One action, one decision, one moment when you show yourself. I'm the kind of person who does the work anyway. And if you stack enough moments like that together, confidence isn't something you chase anymore. It becomes who you are. That's all I got. So, good morning and good luck.
Thank
No,
you.
you Tony. You
Oh,
gotta
all right,
say
wait. What's the closing line? It's good morning and good luck,
no,
isn't it?
this is Tony signing off. Good morning. Good luck.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right. I forgot that this is Tony. Okay, right. My bad. One more time. Okay, here we go. Hey, this is Tony Toich signing off. Good morning and good luck. All right, we got it now. I got it worked out. I got to make sure I say my name. All right, perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you all both for
All
being
right.
here. I appreciate your consistency, and we'll talk soon.
All right. Talk soon. See y'all in the office.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.